at this stage we can conclude our discussion on Purdue and
Correct.
move on to speaking about NUS.
NUS. I think NUS typically takes two interviews. One is a pre-selection interview, which is just a quick 15-minute video call. And the second interview will be a full-blown 30-minute interview where you will have two people on your panel. Both can be alumni or one professor, one alumni, depending upon which panel it is. Around 2 days back, I had my pre-selection interview. Miss Angelina Ang from the Office of Admissions NUS, and she again is an associate director there. She did a 15 minute quick interview with me, and it again started with, if you could just give me a brief overview about your professional experiences till date. So that was something which I had rehearsed before in my credit interview as well. So no changes in that. Yeah.
So it was a Skype interview again, right?
Right. It was a Skype interview.
It was fixed for 15 minutes.
It was fixed for 15 minutes. Yes. And they had explicitly stated that it will be a quick 15-minute interview. So I think because, yeah.
Perfect. So in terms of overall impressions of the interview, I mean, was it kind of very rapid fire, kind of a pressure etc.? What was it?
I mean, it was not too much of a rapid fire, but yes, she wanted to squeeze in around 5 to 6 questions within a 15-minute time frame. So I think from that perspective, you have to be very concise in your answers. You cannot drag on your answers very too long. So one has to, kind of prepare for that beforehand.
So 15-minute time frame is like really short. So
really short. Yeah.
You need to be very rapid in the way, not in terms of delivery, but at least in terms of structuring or communication and making it.
Correct.
It's very important. So yes, you were speaking about the questions that were asked.
Right. So I think it started with the typical professional background question. She just wanted a quick overview about my professional experiences till date. So that was a pretty standard affair. And after that, she wanted me to talk about my goals. That was number two. And then she explicitly asked me that I have just worked for an year at Infosys, and then I quit my job. And why did I leave? Infosys being such a great company and a good company to work for, why did I leave my job? So then I explained her that to manage I wanted to leverage my prior technical experience so that I could manage the digital transformation within my own family business, and this was again critical. Considering that digital disruption had already taken it was starting to take a toll on our business and we were starting to lose clients. So from a timing perspective, it was critical. We could not delay it any further. And then I also mentioned that, I tried to take a sabbatical within Infosys, but since it was just a year and as per policy, I was not eligible. That is when I decided that let me take a break from my professional career and then focus my energies on the digital transformation within my own family business. So I think she was kind of satisfied with that answer. And that was number three.
Yeah. During the interview,
I'm sorry?
Did she end up cross-questioning you when you were given your responses?
No, she did not. She moved on to the next question then.
So she basically had a list through which she needed to go through and she asked those 5, 6
questions. Right. But yes, she was very well aware about my profile. She had read my essays and, most of the questions which she was asking, they were more to do with my own profile, what kind of goals I had. Since I had told in my essays that I wanted to expand my family-owned business in the Southeast Asian region, specifically in the digital learning, and that is where her next question came into being. As part of my goals, I explained her that what I want to do, and there also I kind of explained her that how NUS can help me do that, considering that if I am in Singapore. It can help me understand the market better. That is number one. It can help me build a strong local professional network. And it can help me understand the consumer preferences within the Southeast Asian region. She explicitly asked me that, you have mentioned that you want to work in a a digital learning or a digital technology startup such as Viva Link for some time and then expand. Why is that the case? That is where I kind of explained her that this is the reason I want to do it, so that I get enough experience. This that particular experience working for a short time with that firm will let me understand the Southeast Asian market better, and then I can proceed to start expanding my own business there.
Got it. And were there any
Yeah.
odd-one questions that were asked to you?
Yes. Yes. So this was number three, and then she asked me, "Do you have a plan B?"
Okay.
That let's say that if you're after you do your MBA and you're not able to work with a publishing company or with a digital technology startup, what is your plan B? So I told her that whatever experiences or learnings I'll gain during my MBA and whatever professional networks that I'll build in Singapore as part of doing my MBA in NUS, I would like to leverage those experiences and then start the process of expanding my business further. So that's my plan B. And after that, she asked me what other schools have I applied to. So then I told her that I did not tell her about the American schools I had applied to because it did not sit very well with my strategy of entrepreneurship. So I told her that I have applied to ISB and NTU. And immediately her next question was that I am sure you have done your research comparing NTU and NUS. So what do you think, where does NUS fall behind NTU? Now, this was the surprise question. I was not at all prepared for this question. So, improvising on my feet, the very first thing which came into my mind was that NTU is a 12 month program and NUS is a 17 months program. So I told her that maybe those additional 5 months, from an opportunity cost perspective, some people might be apprehensive of putting in those extra 5 months. But apart from that, my personal feeling is that NUS is a much better program, considering that its industry connections are way better than NTU, number one. And number two, the experimental learning program which NUS has, where you get to work on live consulting projects. I think that also differentiates NUS from NTU. So I wanted to reaffirm that I have done my research, and for me, NUS is the number one pick if it comes to Singapore.
Got it. This brings me to
And
my
yeah.
next question that, in terms of differentiating
Mhm.
yourself from other IT applicants, at
Yeah.
least in the application part, what did you do which helped you get this interview invite?
Right. So, NUS, as you very well know, it's a very selective MBA school. So, I think even landing an interview night from NUS in itself is a big achievement, considering if you come from a highly competitive Indian IT applicant pool. I think we had this discussion before, and the thing which worked with me was that entrepreneurial stint, which we were able to put in my
Perfect. Awesome. I think
yeah.
we have covered a lot of ground in terms of learning
Right.
about your interview experience at NUS.
Right. Yeah.
So, any tips for people who are applying to NUS?
I mean, as of now, I can tell about the application perspective only because I'm still in the process of, my whole admissions process. I think from an applications perspective, again, number one, you have to, from a geographical standpoint, I think you should be able to justify that why do you want to pursue an MBA in Singapore? I mean, why not India or US? I think from a geographical perspective, and I think that is something which we were able to do pretty well in my own essays, where we explained the reason for Singapore, where it provides a gateway to ASEAN as well as the Chinese market, and that is number one. Number two, again, you should have clarity in your goals. But coming from an extremely competitive Indian IT applicant, if your goals are again going to be technology focused, I think that is not going to cut. That is not going to do the trick. That's my own personal feeling is. So I think from a goals perspective, or from it can be a long run goal as well. If you are able to differentiate from that perspective, what do you want to do? Maybe, try to put in some entrepreneurial stint or a startup thing which you are doing and you would like to expand that in the Southeast Asian region. I think that is something which can again differentiate you from the other pool of IT applicants.
Got it. Perfect. So thank you so much. I think that
Yeah.
really helps learning about your
Yeah.
experience. So this is where we can wrap up the NUS discussion, and we want to speak
Right.
about